an amazing time, maybe the most important political convention of my lifetime because of everything that's happened in the last few days. The world changed on Saturday afternoon. Everything changed. And thankfully, not for the worse, but I think actually for the better. What I mean by that is, since that time I was saying it's an opportunity for Donald Trump to unite America, a chance to bring people together in a way that opportunity was not there before. And everything I'm hearing is that's the direction he's going to go on Thursday. What do you think?
Oh, totally agree. I mean, obviously the last 2 days have been surreal for America. It's kind of that post 9/11 moment where there's fear, there's uncertainty. Where do we go from here? And so I think there's moments in time that stand out. I have a dream, tear down that wall, Mr. Gorbachev. And I think the message that Donald Trump delivers is going to be that forward-thinking message of unity and strength. And so that's the contrast we have, right? Is you have Joe Biden, who, and I'm not trying to be mean, gets lost in the Rose Garden. Right. Like that he struggles to string together two sentences. He's always kind of having to be let off the stage. And President Trump, he was shot. The Secret Service take him to the ground, and he stands up and he says to America, I'm not done fighting. Right?
I'm not done fighting. I'm here.
That's the difference. And so if you're Putin, if you're Xi, if you're the Ayatollah, you saw strength in that moment. If you're the American people and your community's overrun by fentanyl, you're a community where 11, 12, 13, 14-year-old girls are being raped by illegals, you saw strength, right?
Absolutely.
And so that's the difference. And
in fact, Congressman, it was the most American moment. An iconic moment.
Iconic.
A Trumpian moment, really. Of look, you almost got me. You didn't get me. And I'm going to fight for America till my last breath.
Yeah.
And I think that's the unifying message. I've seen this on social media ever since. You've probably seen the same thing. People writing things like, I didn't really like Trump. I'm not a Trump fan. I'm voting for Trump. One after another after another. I talked to some teenagers after it happened that were kind of, they're all voting for Trump.
Yeah.
All of them. Dedicated.
Well, to your point earlier, this consequential moment, this was going to be a widely watched convention anyway because of the vice presidential pick, curiosity or whatever. The world is watching. There are eyes going to be watching President Trump that probably weren't interested in hearing him. Right. And he has an opportunity to speak directly to them, to deliver that message of there is hope and change coming, and I'm it, right? It's Donald Trump.
Well, you look at, first of all, the polls were all turning to Donald Trump anyway. Problems with Bidenomics, the word they won't use anymore, of course, because it's toxic, because it's garbage.
Yeah.
It's treated.
There's no such thing, right?
Right. There's no thing. It's high inflation. It's deficit spending. It's huge debt. And then, of course, the open border, which has been off and on the number one issue for people. Even in the places like Tennessee, you must have problems with people that are invading communities, if you will, taking over, flooding the infrastructure. These are issues for America. It doesn't matter if you're black or white. It doesn't matter. They're American issues, aren't they?
Well, I mean, you have, to the point of immigration, whether you're a Democrat, a Republican, you have blue mayors or so Democrat mayors in Dallas and Chicago and New York saying, please close the border. Please secure the border. You've got to do something about the crime. The illegals are, what's happening to communities is transformative, but not in a good way. Look, a sovereign nation is supposed to have sovereign borders, closed borders,
Can't be one without it.
Secure borders. We get to decide who comes in. We also get to decide who has to leave. And so as we go forward, that's going to be a tough conversation, but it is a conversation we must have.
Well, it's been destructive to Europe, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
The open immigration, you can call it open borders, but it really is an invasion of people who don't want to assimilate. I'll bring up Springfield, Ohio, a community I was just reading about. 60,000 people live in Springfield, just outside of Dayton. 20,000 Haitian refugees have been dropped in a town of 60,000. You don't have a town anymore. You don't have school infrastructure. Your healthcare system is overwhelmed. Everything you have, whether it's charities or churches or government programs, they're all overwhelmed. We can't afford that without some sort of, control. We need command and control. We don't have it right now.
That's right. We look at the state of Tennessee, so on an annual basis, Tennessee spends about $850 million on illegal immigration. So whether that's law enforcement, health care, education, translators, just run the gamut. It's almost $1 billion, B as in Bravo, dollars. Like, so when our kids are struggling, when I say our kids, I mean citizens in schools, and they're not getting textbooks or tutors or the resources that they need, it's because of that. When you have veterans that can't get health care, right? You have still the suicide rate amongst veterans is 22 a day, 20 to 22 a day, depending on the community. That's $1 billion in Tennessee. That's not going to veterans. And so if I have to make a choice,
or anybody else for that matter,
sure, between a U.S. citizen and an illegal, I'm sorry, but I'm picking America first.
America's kids first.
That's right.
Because the left house is all about the children. Let it be about American kids.
Yeah, our children.
Yeah, and legal immigrants are fine, but you can't just have a free-for-all at the border. I do want to get to this, though, before we go too far past it, and that is the attempted assassination. You know, CNN and others. Oh, Donald Trump fell down on the platform. I mean, the ridiculous reporting and the recklessness of the national news media. You know, Morning Joe was taken off the air as a result because they didn't trust, NBC didn't trust that for 4 hours, Joe Scarborough, Mika Brzezinski, and their guests could go without saying something completely offensive to the American people. Well, that's always been true.
That's right.
And so now we're at a point where we can hold accountable these people that have said vile things about America, probably things about you, to be honest, and anybody that, you know, if you support Donald Trump, you're a Nazi, you're a white supremacist, you're a fascist, all this has to stop.
Yeah. Well, look, the progressive Democrats have taken over the Democratic Party. They're ruining the party. They're trying to ruin the country. And the language, the calls for violence, that's coming from the left. Not MAGA Republicans. This idea that, you know, it was, you know, someone stated, you know, there should be a bullseye on Trump, right?
Like, Joe Biden said that.
I mean, so could you say that? Secret Service would be all over you, right? And so suddenly...
And so would the left-wing media, telling me how awful I was. And yet they do it every day. You know, I'm on here and we have conversations. I think, well, maybe I was a little bit biased in that. And I listen to MSNBC for 5 minutes. I'm like, I'm good.
Right?
I mean, they're so far off the charts as to being they're just terrible.
They don't know what to do. They've hitched their wagon to Joe Biden. They know he can't win. They know Kamala Harris can't win, and now they created this mess.
Yeah. And now they're stuck with it.
They're stuck with it, and they're going to have Donald Trump as the next president. We're going to win the Senate. We're going to increase our margins in the House. Yeah. And the leftists, they don't know what to do.
Let me ask you about one of your colleagues in Tennessee, Steve Cohen, if I may. Benny Thompson and 8 Democrats here just a few weeks ago said, let's remove all Secret Service protection from Donald Trump. Steve Cohen from Tennessee. Mm-hmm. What would you say to him today?
Well, again, that message is dangerous. The idea that, you know, Kennedy doesn't have Secret Service protection.
He will now, I'm guessing.
Absolutely. And he should, quite frankly, right?
He's at 10, 12, 14%.
Yeah, because, and this isn't about Democrat or Republican or independent. This is about protecting those who have stepped out. They're nationally, they're high profile, they're getting death threats. I mean, the Secret Service has a job to do, and they failed miserably, by the way.
Systemic, epic, catastrophic failure.
Well, I think it's a product of DEI and this woke agenda to transform. Defund
the police.
That's right.
Get the right person there that has the right look. Not who's qualified. It's a whole systemic failure, but on site was a catastrophic failure. And, of course, I'm looking forward to the investigation. Congressman, really appreciate you being here. I want you to give me the last word, 15 seconds. It's time to bring America together again, isn't it?
Yes, sir. And I think, you know, when Trump speaks, he's going to talk from a position of strength and unity and a vision for America. Look, we're going to make America great again, and we're going to get back to the Donald Trump economy, which is better for you, it's better for me, it's better for our children.
It's better for a strong America. Congressman Andy Ogles, greatly appreciate it. Really.
Thank you, sir.
Certainly appreciate it. Send us an email, stevegruber.com. Any questions, any comments about this or any of our coverage from Milwaukee, truly appreciate it. Congressman, thank you. We'll be right back.